Welcome to the very first episode of Transaction Care. My name is Lily. I am your hostess and resident transaction care coordinator. A little bit about this show: we will be discussing topics within the real estate world. In each episode, you will receive information from a variety of perspectives, stories, tips, advice, and more related to but not limited to real estate, like careers, home ownership, renting, good versus bad, business, and money talk. If these topics strike a chord with you, then join the TC movement and subscribe. I'm pumped to be here and looking forward to bringing you along this journey, and just let you know that I'm going to be breaking down this first part of the series into 3 parts. Part 1, the Q&A with me, your host. Part 2 is called From 9 to 5 into the Unknown. And part 3 is why I started this show. So, like I said, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you know exactly when I post, and you can get to know me along this journey as much as I want to get to know you. So welcome again to the very first episode of Transaction Care. This is the Q&A portion of this part 1 of 3 series. For this episode 1, I wanted to break it down separately just so you can get a better understanding of who I am. And I know and I understand that this can be a lot of information to take in all at once. So anyway, let's just have some fun and get into it. So the very first question is, what is your name and where are you from? Well, my name is Lillian, but I go by Lily, like the flower. And I'm from San Francisco. How did you get into real estate? So I got into real estate around the age of 19. I want to say 19 going on 20. I was a starving college student just looking for work. I had applied to pretty much all of the retail stores that I was very interested in, like Tower Records, Best Buy. I think the Warehouse was still around. But basically jobs that revolved around technology, music, things that I was into at the time. And honestly, I didn't think real estate was something that I'd ever get into. So anyway, my friend had referred me to this job because he knew I was looking for some work. And I was a student athlete at the time, so my schedule was already pretty hectic, but I was also starting to reach the end of my sports career. And I needed to start thinking about, adult life. Like, things were getting real. So he referred me to this company. He said, call this number, ask for this person, and go from there. So I did. I was super nervous, of course. It's like my first real job. And I called the number, had an interview, I'd say the next day, I think it was. Did the interview, didn't really know what to expect. There wasn't much on my resume other than school and that one blip of a job I had when I was 16. So I was going in completely green and I didn't know what to say or do or expect. And I ended up getting the job. So after they interviewed me and toured me around the office, they came back and said, hey, we really like you and we'd like to hire you. So of course I took it because they were offering me more money than I would have gotten paid at, Tower Records or Best Buy. And it was something totally different. So I said yes to the job and went from there. The job was basically just an office assistant, AKA a gopher, whatever they need, you go get. And I've always seen this job in movies, and I just assumed I'd be running back and forth getting people coffee and things like that, but it really wasn't like that at all. It was a small office, not a lot of people working in there, but there were just separate departments. And mind you, this is before the recession, so things were booming in real estate, which is why they needed the extra help. And things were also not done online like they were today. So I walked into piles and piles and piles of papers, like files, just stacked, boxes everywhere. Next question. Did I always want to work in real estate? Honestly, no. I didn't know I wanted to work in real estate until I got into it. I was a young kid, first time in the work world, and at that point in my life, all I knew was school, sports, family, and friends. That was it. I was in college. I was attending 2 colleges at the time, but I wasn't really feeling it. My major was business, business management, as well as hopefully entering in some part of the music industry. I thought I would end up in the music industry. Also, it's not too late for that, but that's besides the point. And my rationale with getting into real estate was like, okay, this is business, and I could use the skills that I've learned so far and apply it to this job, and hopefully something would come out of it. So I did just that. Did I know I would continue to be in real estate for the next almost 2 decades? No, not at all. Not at all. But here I am, and I'll get into all of that later. Next question. Did you enjoy the job? Growing up as an athlete, I was always being put into leadership roles and used to working at a fast pace. So things started off kind of slow with them. I did a lot of like cleanup work and reorganizing of things, and eventually the position for a transaction coordinator opened up, and I just, piqued my interest, and I was like, this might be the challenge that I need. So let me literally apply myself to this job and see what it's about. And at the time I was only working part-time. So I'd go there, I think it was every other day or every 2 days after school, after practice, work for a couple of hours. So when this position opened up, I knew it was an opportunity for me to challenge myself, to take a risk, and to try something different. I didn't always want to be an office admin for the rest of my life. That was something ingrained in me from a young age. Like I always was told to want more and better for myself. And in that moment, I seized it and I went for it, and I requested that I would be considered for the job. And it took them a while to come around to the idea of me being put into this position, because I would be having to run the department by myself. And because I'd only been with the company for a few months, they were very hesitant, which I don't blame them. Now looking back, like not that age matters, but I'm working around women that are 10 or more years older than me, and I'm fresh in the game, and here I am just eager to work, eager to step up, but I don't really have that much experience. Yeah, I was an office admin for every person in every department, but it's really not enough to take over. But because it was such a small company, and real estate has a lot to do with trusting your clients, trusting the people on your team, and not having to really start over, because that would just delay the process even more. So I kind of leveraged that in my favor, and eventually I was given the position, and I was out of town when the job was offered to me, and I think I had started summer vacation, and I took a trip out of state, and I remember getting the call and being unsure about taking the position. After I just stated my whole case, I was, something about being out of town. I was just like, I don't know anymore. I need to think about it. And, people were in my ear, like, I pulled for you. You better take it. And I'll come back to that point either in this video or in another video. And I thought about it. I hung up. I called them back and I said, okay, I'll take it. As scared as I was. So I was told I was going to be trained for the next 2 weeks. I was going to get back from vacation. The job was mine. I'm going to be working full time because school, I wasn't happy with school. So I decided I'm going to take a break from college and take on this job. And this was also around the time the College Dropout album came out by Kanye West. I was a huge fan of his, so that album had a great impact and influence on my life. So I chose to take the job, and to my knowledge, I was coming back to get trained, and little did I know that I guess stuff had hit the fan while I was away. People were quitting their jobs left and right. So I came back with one person in the department. It used to be 2 people. One person, they were out of the door. They were supposed to train me. Gone. They quit. And the person left there was like, my last day is tomorrow. I'm leaving. So we need to train you ASAP. I never audited an entire file by myself. There were things I had no idea, no clue about. My mind was just going round and round and round, and I didn't know what to do other than just sit and listen and take in as much as possible. So my training honestly lasted it felt like 5 minutes. It felt like a 5 minute training, and then I was just thrown into these piles and piles of paper. And the next day she was gone and I was on my own. And I was so nervous. I was so scared to ask questions because I thought, they're expecting me to know what I'm doing. And, I put it out there that I was ready. I was, committed to this job. But then everyone quit. So I was on my own. I was, fast forward some time. I'm about 21 at this time. I think like a year or two had gone by. 21, I'm living my best life. I'm making my little 36K a year, thinking I'm balling, thinking I run the world. And boy, was I wrong. But, you live and you learn. I was young, I was impressionable, and I did what I had to do. Next question. So what happened next? I spent a little bit over a decade with this company. I experienced loss, heartbreak, layoffs, rehiring, disappointments, all in one with them. And of course there were fun times, until there wasn't. So after about 14 years of working with them on and off, part-time, full-time, part-time, full-time, I would eventually reach my breaking point and quit. I will get into the quitting part of my journey in the next episode, so please stay tuned for that. All 3 of these videos will be posted simultaneously, so you don't have to wait any longer. You'll have these videos back to back to back. And that was it. So a lot happened in those 14 years. I don't want to drag on this video any longer, but that's just my history with, on how I got into real estate. And please stay tuned for the next episode, where I will get into why I quit working in real estate and how I got here with this show. So please stay tuned. So hit that subscribe button and just know you are worth it. Your time is worth it. Take care.